I got a stick. Ooh, I got a stick. I got a stick.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of Best Butties, the podcast where we talk about a load of random shit and decide what the best of that shit really is. A lot of swearing in this one, clearly. I'm Rob and I'm joined as always by my lovely Butties. I've got Brandon on the line here.
Konnichiwa.
I've got Jack.
Hoi hoi.
And I've got Ryan.
Hey.
God. How are you guys? You right?
Not too bad, it's been a while.
It's been ages, yeah.
Long old time. Been a long old time.
What even was last episode? What is it? Sandwiches?
Something about elephants. Pretty sure. Pretty good. There you go. Any butt stuff, guys? How you been doing? Anything going on?
I'm really looking forward to this one because I absolutely detest Marvel, apart from the one thing that I'll talk about. So, gonna absolutely love this. Absolutely adore it.
It's going to be interesting because I don't know much Marvel. So there's a very good chance that I'm expecting one or two of you to maybe pick like deeper characters, i.e. just not Iron Man. And I'll be like, that could be fake.
Yeah.
Why do you not watch much?
We got some deep cuts. So go on, Rob. You carry on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, why do you like Marvel? Like, do you watch or not know much Marvel? Do you know more DC or do you just...
No, I don't know. I think it's superheroes in general. I just don't. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. Yeah.
No, I think that's fine. Like so the topic this episode is one that I chose after my second win in a row. The first streak that I need to carry on this week, but it is best Marvel superhero. And I mean, I chose it because I've been playing a shitload of Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is the XCOM Marvel card game thing from 2K, with like Fire Emblem Three Houses in the middle, where all your superheroes just sort of clock off at 5 and go and do yoga together, which I legitimately one of the best games that was out in 22. If I'd played it before our go-to list, it probably would have got a mention. It's really fucking good. Combat's fantastic. It's just great. But like the thing I realized playing that is I like Marvel. I like superheroes. I like the stuff they do. What I don't like is how all of the MCU movies have been written. Like Joss Whedon doing the Avengers movie sort of has left a decade-long curse on those movies. Just been to have their like moment-to-moment dialogue written like shit. Like everyone trying to make crap jokes every 5 seconds.
I quite like the first... What was the... Is it End... No, what? Not Endgame. Whichever the one is the first one of those two. Is that Infinity War?
Oh no, I didn't watch those.
Infinity War? Is that one?
Infinity War,
Infinity
yeah.
War. I quite like that one. The other ones are a bit poo, but I quite like...
But that's the thing. I think they have good stuff going on there. I just think they've done a disservice to all the characters. Like I think Cumberbatch is a bad Doctor Strange. Just a
Bendy Snatch Crumble Munch.
Just
no
a
way.
bad flat version of that character.
Also,
like
his American accent is fucking terrible.
Yeah. But like Thanos is a really good villain. They do really good stuff with Thanos in those movies. Because, you know, the bit where he just goes off and starts a farm and shit. Like, they do good stuff where you're like, oh yeah, okay, I see where he's coming from. He's wrong, and this is fucking abhorrent, but I see how he gets there.
Why didn't he just use the Infinity Gauntlet glove thing to just double all the resource, to give people more resource instead of killing off the people?
He's been listening to David Attenborough too much. That's very much... Like, Attenborough has come out and said there are too many people and shit, hasn't he? So...
Oh, has he actually said that, has he?
Yeah, he's wrong. Like, the science doesn't support him in the slightest. It's purely a capitalism problem. But
is that too many people to sustain on what resource we've got?
That's what he's saying, and he's wrong. We don't have that issue. It's distribution of resources and basically rich people withholding resources. But that's just a 90-year-old man who doesn't know what he's talking about anymore.
And also,
he is.
the BBC is not going to publicly air on, daytime television, eat the rich. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. I wish it was, if the BBC made that their message.
I don't know. Have you seen any of Frankie Boyle's stuff recently?
That's
He's
Frankie
pretty
Boyle.
open with it.
You know, they just think he's a farce. They're not gonna.
Yeah,
Is he still on BBC? Frankie Boyle's not BBC.
yeah.
Is he
He's
on
got his
BBC
New
still?
World Order. It's really good.
Oh, right.
It's like maybe one of the few leftist things on the BBC at the moment. But anyway, back to Marvel. Like, I think most of us are Marvel experienced mostly beyond the Marvel universe, MCU stuff. I think we've all dipped in and out of would be like 90s Marvel, like the X-Men cartoon, the Spider-Man cartoons.
Yeah. And
To be fair, sorry, go on, Ray.
No, you carry on, Brandon.
I say, I know I started this by saying I'm not really a Marvel fan. My pick is actually based on a movie from 1978. So
78.
Okay, I thought I was going to have the earliest like deep cut there, but you've got me beat.
I think going to the 90s kind of nostalgia that we grew up with comic book characters, I think that's what's lost in the MCU, which doesn't do it for me. They try and make it realistic with muted colour palettes. Comics are dumb. They're big and dumb. And I think a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe not now, I think they're going to more the wacky direction now with the Disney Plus stuff.
I think that's it. Like the Disney Plus stuff is getting back to what comic books are in a way that's really good. I think the movies are trying to do it in sort of the wrong way with their piffy dialogue. Or you go and look at the Deadpool movies, which are fun. Like, I enjoy them, but they're trying to do the funny, wacky stuff in a bit... Ryan Reynolds is just going too far with it in the wrong direction, I think.
I think stuff like that, especially Deadpool, I loved it at the time, but it's gone the way of Borderlands for me. Like, I used to love the Borderlands game, but I look back at the dialogue and I'm like, I'm going to cringe so hard. My face is going to fall off. Like, it just gives me the ick.
The Thor movies are definitely like that, for sure. Like, all of them are just now just like a bit of a joke fest. And
But
I don't know what's going on, so...
at least it's gone a little bit that way. I think it's funny for the MCU to not take itself seriously, and I think that's what the later Thor movies... I'm saying this, and I have not watched a single Marvel film since... Jesus. The first Avengers film. So I am not a prophetic speaker on this at all.
That was like 2012,
Exactly.
wasn't it? Or something like that.
there's been a couple since then, yeah.
The last one I watched in a cinema and paid money to watch would have been Iron Man 2, which I went with Robert to watch and spill oil all over my
You
hand.
scalded your arm
Yeah.
with sausage oil.
Like, just before going, I scolded myself pretty badly to the point where I probably should have gone and got it checked.
Now, when you say sausage oil, what
I
do
was
you
cooking
mean by
sausages, I pulled them and spilled all of the hot oil all over my arm.
All over his arms. Yeah, it isn't like code for anything naughty. It's
checking.
definitely sausages.
I didn't
It's
just
definitely
like
sausages.
spill my boiling hot lube all over myself.
Also, Jack was so affected that it was actually Iron Man 3, not Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
that
okay.
we
that?
went to
Back
see,
in
and
time, it was so bad.
Whichever
utter
one
drivel.
had Ben Kingsley in as the Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
I think I actually saw that film.
Was that in there? Iron Man 3.
Whichever one had Ben Kingsley in as the Mandarin is the one we went to see.
It's like a tiny orange.
But it was like it was a joke, like subversion, because obviously in the comics the Mandarin is like a big Iron Man enemy, but it was like a diversion thing. Like they swapped him out partway through.
I think it was Iron Man 3. It was crap. So whatever.
I think it was also the
awful film.
Hulkbuster was involved near the end somewhere.
Yeah, that was Iron Man 3. Yeah, for sure. And they said at the end that Robert Downey Jr. would be coming back, but not for a long time, or he wasn't going to be Iron Man or something, or Iron Man would be coming back. Is that right? He was going to leave being Iron Man, and then Iron Man was going to come back, and then he came back as Iron Man. So it made no difference.
But I mean, the real thing here is like most of our love of Marvel would have been for the 90s cartoons, particularly the X-Men cartoon, because Rogue sort of awakened something in all of us, I think.
Oh Lord! Also,
Yeah, fair.
the X-Men theme tune for the 90s, it lives in my head rent free to this.
It's
day.
on my Spotify. I love it. I love it so much.
slaps.
Can we?
Is that the one
We should get a drop of it here.
Da-da-da-da. Da-da. Yeah.
Da-da.
Also, going back to our anime focus that we've had, there's an X-Men anime that is supposed to be phenomenal. I haven't checked out, and we need to.
Wolverine best husbando?
No more husbando chat. We had enough of that last episode.
You might be a good husbando, though.
No, it would. Strong. Also a bit kooky, but, there we go. Sorry, I won't talk about husbandos anymore. Maybe it'll be waifus next. We'll talk about them next.
No,
So.
veto.
Oh dear. Right then. Should we go into the bracket? Should we start this
Let's
off
do
then
it.
with the?
Yeah, we prattled on a bit last episode, if I remember correctly. Let's get into it, man. Let's go.
Let's do it then. Okay, bracket 1 is Jack and myself. So Jack, go on. You go first. Yeah, it's Jack and me. It's all random. This is random, by the way. We use a random bracket generator. So
Okay.
I promise you, that's what it is.
If I'm going first, then I'm picking. I mean, I just chose my favorite Marvel hero. It's Blade. It's got to be Blade.
Oh, Blade is cool.
He's very cool. The movies are cool.
Blade is very cool.
The opening of that first movie where they go into the Bloodbath Club, and Confusion is playing, and at the drop, the sprinkler system comes on, and it's just blood. I watched it last week, and it still holds up. It's such a good fucking movie.
How old is the first
Motherfucker's always
film?
trying to ice skate uphill. It's so good. Like, it was a complete improv line. When it was early 90s, I know that much. The second movie, Del Toro just fucking bats it out of the park with his super vampires. He then goes on to make the Strain series, which is a fantastic vampire series.
Yes, that was good.
But Blade is so fucking cool. Wesley Snipes' Blade is really cool, but actually comic book Blade is also very cool. And he's British in the comics. So a little bit of British representation in the MCU.
It's originally I never thought Blade was Marvel because it's so brutal. But it actually is. It's a bit of a shock.
Blade is a Marvel hero, and he's so good. He's just so fucking good.
It took me ages to watch that film, and I watched it during lockdown 2. Me and my housemate smoked a joint and watched Blade, and it was a phenomenal evening.
Sounds incredible.
So good.
What was good, the joint or the film?
All of it.
I distinctly remember the first 10 minutes because that sequence in the club is astonishingly good scene setter. So
And all of like the world building, and then you bring him in to like interact with the real, in commas, Marvel heroes, and that's always fun. He operates in New York, so there's a lot of crossover with Spider-Man. You got Morbius is like a common enemy of the both of them. It's Morbin time.
Morbin time, God.
The fact that you can have a Marvel comic book that unironically brings Dracula in as a villain is very good.
It's a good show.
I look, just endlessly cool guy, big silver sword, stake guns, like garlic.
So I remember him with the guns. I don't know why I don't remember the sword. I don't know. The guns seem to, and his leather jacket. Is it leather he wears? Big leather jacket.
Leather jacket and sunglasses. The point in the film where one of Frost, the villain's vampires, takes his glasses, and then like 10 minutes later, Blade breaks out, cuts the guy's arm off, then cuts his head off. The sunglasses fly in the air, and Blade catches them and puts them on. It's so good.
Does he say something witty on the back of that as well?
Probably. I can't remember exactly what it is, but probably.
Sounds like Blade, I guess. That is quite cool, to be fair. My dad was a big fan of Blade as well.
Like, Wesley Snipes, absolute dickhead. And also really cannot act, but those movies are fantastic. And yeah, from what I've read of the comic books and stuff, he's phenomenal. Every time I've seen him in other things, he's absolutely fantastic. Like, again, Midnight Suns. Blade is part of the Midnight Suns. Some of my other picks are probably going to be from there because it's got some cuts of some of the younger heroes, like deeper cuts of the younger heroes. So things like the Runaways, which I love the Runaways. Their adaptation is sort of hit and miss, but they're a cool hero team.
So you said he's crossed over with other heroes.
Yeah.
Is that other films he's crossed over into then with other heroes?
Not in the
or
films.
just comic books.
Yeah,
Just comic books.
They've in the comic books. They have they've recast Blade. Blade is coming back in 2024 as I think it's Mashallah Ali, which is a really good pick for Blade.
Not Wesley Snipes, but yeah.
He's not, but he's also not a dickhead. From what I know of Mashallah Ali, he's like an all-round good guy.
So, question for dumb people like myself who don't follow any sort of news: why is Wesley Snipes such a dickhead? What's he
what?
done?
A lot of tax evasion. A lot.
Come on, if you could, you
everyone.
would.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But little things like on set, he got into an argument with the director and then refused to open his eyes for a scene, so they had to CGI on open eyes.
What?
He's just apparently renowned for being absolute dog shit to work with.
They give him like big Powerpuff Girl eyes.
It looks awful. It looks terrible.
It looks really bad.
I don't know.
You're
winning me over to Wesley more and more, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's just renowned for being a bit of a dickhead to work, like personally a dickhead. But outside of that, there's not a lot. He's just a very difficult guy.
Hashtag not my Wes.
Some problematic views, but I don't know.
Interesting. It's a tough hero to follow.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes. Okay, well, shall I go then? Because I see now on the sort of flip side, I don't read any of the comics or watched really too many of the older films, so I've had to sort of pick this from the films I've watched, or actually the games I've played recently instead. So who I've gone for is, and which is actually quite funny because I absolutely hate Spider-Man, but Miles Morales is the complete opposite. I
Miles
absolutely. Is it Morales? Morales?
No.
Morales?
Can't like him that much.
He's Hispanic.
Morales.
It's
Morales.
Right, crikey. Miles Morales. So, here we go. He's really cool. I don't really have much to say because I don't really, when I watch these films, I'm just a bit like, oh, they're pretty cool, I guess. But I watched Into the Spider-Verse, and that was awesome.
I'll come in and say, well, first of all, Spider-Verse is the best Marvel film in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah, it's good.
Second of all, Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. I don't mind
fair.
Peter. I like Peter. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I like him, but Miles is so much more endearing.
Unless it's Tobey Maguire, and then I guess, cool, what a Spider-Man he was.
Sorry, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this because, that may or may not have been my pick. So, fuck you. But also, for our audience members who don't know us personally, me and Robert have fallen out before because I've said that Spider-Man was one of the best Marvel characters or one of the best superheroes, and he has fought me tooth and nail before on that. And now here he is just because he's played 10 hours of Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. I am
No.
This one's got personal.
It has got personal. I don't like normal Spider-Man from the films that I've seen, the games I've played. He is just an annoying arse. I really do not like him, and I don't like the. Well, I guess it's more Peter Parker, right? This like witty sort of rhetorical character. I just don't like him at all.
The thing with Spider-Man in particularly comics, cartoons, and stuff, like he's a young guy. Like he starts off as Spider-Man when he's like 16. Like he's still in high school, and the whole point of Spider-Man is you see him grow up through the story, through whichever one it is, and like all of the different iterations like take place at a different part of Peter's life. Like sometimes he's in college, sometimes he's in high school, but he's always young, or almost always young, unless they're really trying to do something with it. Like he's annoying because he's a young guy, and that's just like young men are annoying. We've all been there.
Fine, but that still doesn't change the fact that I find him annoying. So
No,
I
that's
do.
On the flip side of that, I kind of like Spider-Man because he is a bit naff,
Yeah.
to be honest.
He's trying too hard. Is the thing with Spider? Like Peter, he's always trying too hard.
And like he'll admit that, like it is a thing in the comic, because if this is, may or may not be my pick, I will go into a different aspect. But the comics know he's naff. The comic know he makes crap choices and talks out of his arse, and it's I find it so endearing. But you just picked it out your arse because you played the game for 5 minutes.
No, I do.
Oh god, why Miles then specifically? Because Miles and Peter are very, very different. Like my view.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Miles is, I mean, he's Spider-Man for a modern New York.
Yeah.
Like he's a mixed race. He's situated in like an area of New York that is more young and modern. He's just they've looked at what New York is now opposed to what New York was when Spider-Man was originally written, and found a character in a young person who actually fits into a similar role to Peter did in that original time period, but for the 2000s, and in a much more interesting way. But yeah,
Seems pretty cool. I don't know. Like, I unfortunately, I'm not as passionate about the Marvel comic universe as I am sandwiches. So
I'm extremely biased here, so I'm going to vote against Rob here, just because his argument is so weak that he says it's pretty cool, and he's fought me on this before, so he's a little bitch boy.
I have fought you on it before, but I said I don't like Spider-Man.
No,
there is no other character that I'm like, this is this. If you said DC, there is obviously for DC 100%. I'm like, yeah, because I hate DC as well. There's not very much there, but there is a one standout superhero that I'm like, that is cool. Like, I will go out my way to see that. But if I was to go out my way to see anything that's from the Marvel universe, there's very little that I would actually care about. I don't like the main
Marvel Snap recently. Have you not picked anyone out of there? You didn't fancy
It's a card game,
You
mate.
didn't go with Squirrel Girl
To be
or
fair.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah, no, I've got a Squirrel Girl because she does make a great zoo deck. So
That's
no,
about the same argument length, though.
there's just from all of the Marvel stuff that I've watched, that's the last film. Been like, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that, and he was a great character in that. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me in terms of the characters I like. Even the game I'm playing at the moment, because I'm playing the PS4 Spider-Man game, not fussed at all. I'm actually struggling to complete it. So it's
you know the conceit of this whole podcast is we take a stance and we fight tooth and nail for it, and like we even if we're not passionate about it, we just act as if we are. Like that's what makes this thing entertaining.
There we are. I'm saying I like Miles Morales. I said his name.
I see no
very
passion
much
in
great.
your eyes. There's nothing, no passion. There's no glory.
If you didn't introduce him as like, Mills Morals, he's good.
There's going to be some topics that we pick that I can't put everything behind it.
I don't actually care about the Marvel universe. I don't.
But the thing is, you likely read a lot more of this stuff or watch, whereas I don't. I don't. But the thing is, I'm not subject to this at all, except from if I play a game, if somebody says play it, or somebody says watch this film, because it's incredible. The reason I watched Into the Spider-Verse is because everyone said it was amazing, and it turns out it was. And Miles is a fantastic Spider-Man, because I was like, actually, I like this. If I go back and watch Spider-Man, what's the one with Andrew Garfield? Amazing Spider-Man? Is that right?
I think
is that
so.
amazing?
No one really bothers watching those ones.
Just not bothered. The old Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire in, yeah, great, because that was when we were a kid, that was what we were watching. Still not bothered. Not bothered at all. Endgame was a good film, I've said that. Yeah, great. Would I go back and watch it again? No. Would I go back and watch Into Spider-Verse again? 100%. It was amazing. And the soundtrack was good.
It's Jack. I put Blade through. I turned it on.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think it might be easy to get wrapped up in Jack pronounced the name correctly, and then Ryan clearly has a vendetta against your pick. So putting personal opinions aside, of just straight, Blade's really cool, and he's British, and he kills vampire. Like, come on, man, It's got to be Blade, right?
If anyone else brought Miles Morales to this bracket, there would be a real discussion.
No, even I don't think I'd still pick Blade.
I think Miles Morales' Spider-Man definitely could beat out Blade here if the right points were made.
And Andrew Garfield isn't claiming tax evasion and CGI and eyeballs on himself, so it's Blade, isn't it?
Yes, true.
But yes, no, I love Blade. I'll take the win. I'll stop trying to fight for Miles against myself. But on the other side, if anyone has also chosen Miles Morales as Spider-Man, I don't see a reason why you couldn't bring that again, because no
Try again.
argument was made here.
No, you can't do it again. I've said it. I've said it now. You can't say it again. It's been taken.
No, I honestly don't think that any argument was made. It can be made. It can be made again.
You said pick a character.
Robert has just sort of vetoed his choice.
No, that is bollocks. I've said my decision. I gave you some reasons why, and it hasn't won.
A reason, which is
Well,
he's all right. He's cool.
He's all right.
he is cool.
It's interesting that we've not yet had, across all episodes, any overlap where two people have picked the same. In or outside of, like, if they're going against each other in a bracket. We've never had a draw, like, where we both just said the same thing, which is quite surprising.
Yeah.
So far. Maybe in 10 minutes' time.
We'll find out.
Out of interest, Robert, who was your second choice?
Peter Parker.
Iron Man, I guess. I don't know. He's not that good. I don't like Thor very much. I think I was a bit lazy, really, picking a sort
You
of
can
Norse
go
prodigy
outside
with that.
of the things that have had movies.
Yeah, but the problem is, mate, is that I don't know anything really outside of that, because
The
I've played
X-Men?
Marvel Snap, but just because I know
Did you not
how...
watch the X-Men movies?
No, I watched like what? No, two. I watched the first X-Men, and then I watched Wolverine. So that's not really. I didn't watch many of those either. I don't know. I'm just so not fussed
Deadpool?
about the. No, not really. It was funny, but I just don't watch it. I don't watch or ingest much media from the Marvel comic book universe, or really any of those comic book universes. So I have no opinion.
Fair enough.
There you go. I'm opinionless.
Right. So if anyone wants to join the Best Buddies at any point, we will have an opening. Because someone just can't be bothered to.
Well,
take
it's
part.
like one. It's one. I thought about it, but I'm like, what more do you want me to do? I'm not passionate about all of the other topics we've done. Super, hell yeah, super into it. This one, I'm like, I just do not know what to bring to the table.
No,
It is
that's
really
fine.
tough,
Yeah.
and I can't bullshit that well. So, not good. That's me. So I guess that's a shame.
Well,
'cause-
maybe that was just on me picking a bad.
No, because everyone else get into it. It's just me. There's going to be topics, isn't there, where you're going to get that. So, but there we go.
Okay.
I would say done my boy dirty, but I guess I
don't really care.
Yeah, it was Blade. It's Blade that won.
Okay. I mean that's great, but are we going to go straight into the next bracket, or have we got something in between, or are we just right straight into the next bracket? Let's cut that little
Let's do it.
Let's cut that bit out.
Let's go straight into the next bracket.
Me and Ryan, you go ahead, good sir.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go and put my whole pussy into this. I'm going to take it back. Let's pretend that little argument by Rob didn't happen. I'm going to put on the table Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Now, this is much like Rob's pick for the husbando in the a couple of episodes ago. It's a pick from the heart. I loved Spider-Man as a kid. I watched the 90s and 2000s TV shows, played the amazing PS2 game. There's got loads of like Spider-Man toys still at home. I absolutely adore Spider-Man because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a bit naff, but the one trope I hate in like most games and media is the happy-go-lucky guy who just wants everything to be okay. And Peter Parker is that dude, but they write him so well. He like genuinely cares about his city. He genuinely cares about his family, his friends, the people that he saved. But it doesn't come across as naff. It just comes across as nice. And like yes, it's me choosing a nice guy who happens to be a twink, but that's beside the point, right? But he's just a overall endearing, sweet dude who knows he's a bit naff, but does not stop. Like, throughout the 60-plus years that Spider-Man's going, he's always had this positive attitude. He's just not stopped. He's relentless, and yeah, I love him to bits. Apart from that one weird arc where they did Superior Spider-Man when Dr. Octopus got into the body of Peter Parker and was Peter Parker for a bit. And that was terrible. That was literally the worst thing I've ever read in a comic, and that was coexisted with the time I got back into Spider-Man during uni, but we skipped past that bit. But it's a pick from the heart. It's a pick from my childhood. I absolutely love Spider-Man. He's the best. Fuck you, Rob. There we go.
Very New York, Manhattan-centric at the moment, which is interesting.
Yeah. I respect, like I said, I do quite like Spider-Man because he's a bit naff.
Yeah.
And so I can associate with that because I'm a bit naff. So it gives me hope. So I respect the pick for, well, the pick and a half, I guess. Rob picked it, didn't really put his back into it, but I understand where you're coming from.
Plus, I just think the suit's cool. Like, you get a lot of capes and stuff, and as we know, Edna Mode proved that capes are really bad if you're a superhero, because you will get sucked into a jet engine and die. I think
Unless you're Doctor Strange.
True, he's a bit of a knob.
Not
suits-
Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I hope he gets sucked into a jet engine. Not the character, the actor. I want someone to put Cumberbatch in a jet engine.
Wait, what's wrong with Ben?
Sorry, Benny.
Just dog shit.
What is wrong with you, Jack? Oh my God.
His family owes like hundreds of thousands in reparations to the slaves that they used to own, and he won't pay it. So he's a bit of a dickhead.
Benedict Cumberbatch or Doctor Strange?
Yeah, there's lots of no Cumberbatch. There's lots of news that came out quite recently, and he's refusing to pay reparations to people who also have the surname Cumberbatch for some reason, and were slaves at some point.
Carrying on from that, does it surprise you by the way he carries himself that he's a man that would turn down repatriations? I think not.
I mean, maybe since I heard that news, he's come out and said he will pay, but I think he's trying to just not. I'll Google this.
This podcast went places that I didn't expect. Good lord!
He's also just. I don't think he's particularly great. I've seen him do stage acting, and I think he's actually really fantastic on the stage. I don't think he is able to transfer over to film acting. I think it's just something about the way he holds himself. Like I think he tries to tone it down, and he maybe goes too far. Because obviously on a stage you've got to really project everything and overact, and then on film you've got to sort of tone that back and act more like a real person, because you haven't got people right at the back in the cheap seats. And I don't know. It's just a bit sort of flat.
I thought he played Khan really well in the Star Trek film.
Fuck you. Bad Star Trek films. I mean, they're fine, but they're not Trek. No.
Has anyone ever brought up something and Jack's liked it?
The Kelvin timeline is bad. J.J. Abrams did to Star Trek what he's done to Star Wars. He's just bad.
In conclusion, I really like Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Thank you for coming to this week's episode of Best Butties podcast.
In this essay, I will.
I'm sorry.
I won't just shit on Peter Parker, because I think I've done enough of that, and I don't really need to say any more than I've already said in terms of that. I can appreciate growing up with, out of all of the heroes, growing up with Spider-Man. Maybe that's by default, because that's kind of what I watched when I was younger. But yeah, I guess I can appreciate from that side. The suit is cool, and it's not to say the powers aren't cool. Like, that's really good. I think it's just Peter Parker. I don't know. I just don't think I really like that character personally.
The thing with Peter
Oh, go on.
He's got a heart of gold.
Yeah, and I hate that
He's
trope.
a goofy little shitbag. But like, you see how he reacts around Eddie Brock. Like, he's one of the few people that continues to call him Eddie, even with Venom in him. Like, he will always try and save someone to a fault.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a fantastic little guy.
The villains are so cool, and they keep updating them to look cool as well. Like, I'm going to butcher the names because I can't remember. But
Rhino.
they're all animal based, aren't they? Basically, you got lizard bloke, you've got the vulture, the rhino,
Scorpion.
scorpion.
One of them, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And Venom and Carnage as well. Such cool.
100%. Now, if this was about villains, fuck yeah, all about it, love it, right? Because Venom and Carnage are awesome, and in Spider-Man, like that's really cool. That is
Willem
really cool,
Dafoe
but that's not.
as the Green Goblin is just fantastic.
That's good. That's really good. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't get excited when I watch Spider-Man. He pisses me off, and maybe because the pick that I go for DC is the exact opposite of what that character is. So I'm just like not interested.
So presumably, like, if this spoils the DC one, which we probably won't do, but is your pick? Would that be Batman?
It's Batman. 150% the best hero in
But
all
that's
comic book
why
universes.
that's why I like Spider-Man so much, because the Batman trope of my parents died, boo-hoo, is so annoying. Like, it's overdone so much. He's this gruff wanker, and then Spider-Man comes along like a ray of sunshine. It's chef's kiss.
I think my personal thing, Batman, the joke is that they take themselves too seriously. Like, Batman is a joke because he's so serious. I think, especially modern Batman. Whereas Spider-Man, the writers are sort of aware that to take it seriously would be silly, and they sort of play with it in a way where they know that it's a trope and it's overdone and it's fun in that way.
Plus, Spider-Man's got so much cool history, like, out of comics. Like, one of Marvel's oldest running superheroes that's still going. And I just love it. I tried to read them all at one point, and that was a futile experiment in reading far too many comics at once. But yeah, I love it. Spider-Man, nostalgic heart pick for me, but yeah.
It's a good choice. Now, I think in a sort of similar way to what Rob was saying, I wouldn't say I have a huge passion for Marvel and their heroes and what have you, or superheroes in general. But I do have a passion for Norse gods. So my pick is Thor. Yes, Rob did mention earlier, don't really like Thor, but he got Spider-Man's name wrong, so don't worry about it. Now, let me sell you, Rob. Just buckle up, let me sell you.
I love this episode of Robert's opinion no longer matters.
No, because I'll
I'm
convert
done.
you. I'll
I'm
convert
done.
you. No, just stay with me. Let me take you on a journey, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about, well, I personally kind of like it. Let's ignore Chris Hemsworth Thor, okay? Because this is general comic book character or that character, not from what specific movie or specific series or anything like that, okay? Because that will twist some people's opinions in certain directions. But Thor as a character, phenomenal. Buff, big hammer, already great. But it then evolves in such a weird way where it goes away from just the normal Norse mythology, and then it's just this sort of crazed Viking travelling through space doing shenanigans. Such a wild turn that it's brilliant, and it's a great twist on it. And then just the fact that it's obviously based on a real person, Thor, unlike this other made up stuff. There's history there. But more importantly, none of you would have seen it. But in 1978, they made a Hulk movie, and it starred Lou Ferrigno, right, the bodybuilder, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend as the Hulk. And in
That would be the Hulk movie with the ending scene that is just perfect with the slow walk away. Is that it?
Possibly,
Or is that
because
later?
the ending scene, or at least with Thor, because Thor makes an appearance and it threw out an incredible bit of casting. Also, I can't remember his name, but a huge shredded. I can't see that, mate. Again, another sort of just buff dude. It's not CGI nonsense. This is real protein that was in there, and he plays Thor phenomenally. And there's scenes of him just. He's just sort of hanging out with Bruce Banner while they crack on with the rest of the plot. the bad guys are trying to find Bruce Banner, and so he sends Thor out to scare him off. So this little dweeby henchman's knocking on the door. Thor answers in just a bath towel with a giant jug of beer, and he couldn't figure out how to open a normal six-pack, so he stabs it with a knife and empties it into this fucking glass, and he just opens it. It's like, who knocks on my door with such insolence? It's incredible. And then the movie ends, they save the day. Thor doesn't go back to Asgard or anything. He just hangs out on Miami Beach, and he just runs off into the sunset topless with a golden retriever. None of those other fuckers are doing anything like that. It's a masterpiece. Thor MVP.
What are we rating here? The film or Thor as a hero?
Right, Thor as a hero as well. God of Thunder. And there's no... He's just good. No one can say, oh, he's a bit dweeby, or he just gets the job done.
At least Spider-Man is an original thought. And that's what really grinds my gears with Thor, is they've just taken Norse mythology and be like, yeah, fuck it, let's just use that. That's kind of what it feels like. And I just do
what
not...
It was.
Well, exactly.
When the comics were written, that's what they were doing.
Excellent.
They had to just spit these stories out. The thing is, the Thor in the comics is different from the Thor in mythology now.
Yes,
it's the same as God of War. What are they doing there? Oh, we'll just take the mythology and put it in a game. It's the same thing.
Totally fair. That's a very good shout. I love God of War. It's fantastic.
It's doing
I don't like Thor. I don't like the Thor films.
I think what you don't like is you don't like Taika Waititi.
Yeah, you don't need to like Chris Hemsworth, although hot. You don't need to like Chris Hemsworth.
Speaking of
Thor.
hot Thors, Natalie Portman's Thor. Oh, Russell's my Jimmy's. Oh,
also,
yeah, Lady Thor is good. I read a little bit of the Lady Thor comic, the first one, and it's just a good character. It's a good choice.
Oh, I've not seen that. Okay, that was pretty good. Oh man,
it's good, and it's based on just working off mythos and it's stuff that you know was already created elsewhere, but it also takes it on its own version. It goes in its own direction with it, and then moves away from just that mythos and takes this character that they've already built up, shoves him in a spaceship, and blasts him off with a raccoon. Like it goes places that the old Norse myths don't. Sadly,
yeah. Plus, I think it does a lot for the Marvel universe. Like this could be completely wrong. I'm pulling this out of my arse, but Thor, as some kind of space thing, took the Marvel universe to new heights. Right? You open it up to all the crazy universe stuff with Galactus and Thanos, and it makes that Marvel universe an actual universe rather than New York City.
It spreads it out way more than just that melting pot of everyone's in downtown New York. It's like we're not even in Earth anymore. And also think of the educational benefits. The kids go and watch a Marvel movie, they're like, oh, Thor's cool, he's buff and has a hammer. And then the dad turns around and is like, actually, he's based on Norse mythology, and there's countless books you can read and learn, little Timmy. And then he goes off and he learns about history and Vikings and what have you, and increases his education, and then goes into history and becomes a professor.
Love to watch a Marvel film and increase my education stat.
Exactly.
I mean, Brandon's done a very good argument considering he didn't like the actual topic, Robert. So,
yeah, Marvel shit.
I'm not passionate for it. Yeah, he's picked Norse mythology. That's what he's, or a film. He's not picked
the iteration of
superhero,
Thor, the Marvel iteration of Thor.
Oh, I don't know, Jack. I mean, whatever I don't know what you think, but I'm out. I can't believe this actually may be the first time I picked Peter bloody Parker in something, which is impressive. He is an original Thor, and I don't know why it is that Thor in like Marvel and that whole like his story or whatever in Marvel really I just do not like it. I don't know why they did it, but you're right. In God of War, I really like seeing Thor and whatever in God of War. Maybe it's because God of War and Kratos is all based off of fighting, like different mythological gods. And
Wait,
that sort of...
what do you think superheroes do? They do fight.
Well, I know, but I don't know
Now
what
and
it is
then they
about
fight.
that I'm just... Because I try and... Like, okay, I've watched Thor, the first one, the second one. Is there a third one? Is
Have
that
you
Ragnarok?
have you consumed any Thor that wasn't Chris Hemsworth? This is what I'm trying to get
no,
at.
see, this is it. No, I've only consumed that Thor.
So,
because I
so you
don't
need to
read
push
comics.
that away. Neither
But
do
if I push that away, Brandon, you've got no argument because I don't know.
I've just
That's
given
the
you
problem.
the argument that there's more
know.
than Chris Hemsworth.
I'm going for Spider-Man. I'm going to go for Peter Parker because I've seen those. I've read more outside of what I've already read, and I don't know. I just think that's more
And
original.
you're a
than
closed-minded
Thor.
individual.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going for.
But that's okay because we're discounting Robert this episode. So no.
See you later, guys.
we got one vote for Peter, and I'm struggling. I see the point for both. Like, I agree with Robert insofar that I don't particularly like the modern MCU version of Thor. I think that first movie's fine though. Like, I like it when it sticks to Thor's side of things. I think when he gets pulled into the Avengers stuff, he gets weaker as a character because there's already people doing that bit. But in the comics, it's very much his own thing. I'm just glad no one said Captain America. I can't fucking stand Captain America.
Yeah, I would have shot that person into the sun with the level of anger I have for Captain America. I think it's...
We can all agree that Captain America is shit. Is the shit one.
It's shitty
Out of-
capitalist propaganda bullshit that can get
It is,
yeeted.
yeah. Chris Evans is hot, but yeah,
It's a good counterpoint, Brandon. Chris Evans is hot.
he's hot.
It's
But,
very hot.
but we need to move away from just the actor for one particular film and think of the character as a whole.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I think although I am interested to see them try and bring Captain Britain to the screen with Henry Cavill. That's going to be interesting because Captain Britain is a weird character. That's a weird pull for them.
Captain
He's basically
Britain.
what if Captain America, but magic? Like,
Oh, so he doesn't like...
No, he's like
Magic.
Arthurian legend is where his power comes from. Like, he's like
Oh well, Robert hated
knows
him.
Merlin and shit.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
It's cool. It's cool. It's good to see Henry Cavill getting some work after getting kicked out of DC. You know.
Oh, DC. Yeah. Oh, that is a shit. That...
Why don't they do the modern reboot and like jig it around a bit so you make it Captain Brexit? That's what we want. That's what the people
I
want.
mean, let's hope they do that. Henry Cavill is Captain Brexit.
That'd be pretty impressive. Where you going, Jack?
I don't know. I do like Thor generally, even though I don't like him in the movies. But it's Peter fucking Parker. Like, when people think of Marvel, they think of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I suppose he's like the cover boy, isn't he? Really? So
Particularly before
Yeah.
the MCU. I think before the MCU, like, Marvel still had a long history there, and Spider-Man was really one of the heroes. There's a reason he's so long-lived in terms of the comics.
Yeah, no, there's
I
a lot of Spider-Man.
yeah, it's close. It's really close, but I think I'm going with Peter.
Yay!
Well, there we go, Peter Parker.
Peter
as
Parker's
Spider-Man.
through.
All right, so we'll have Peter Parker versus Blade,
That's tough.
which that's after the break.
Yeah. Should we before that? Should we shag, marry, and kill them? Sound good.
So, go on then, Ryan. You bring this one in.
We decided to mix it up. We've done a lot of smash or passes. We've had some excellent choices. David Attenborough for one. Truly exceptional choice by whoever said that. I think we're going to switch it up by doing our shag, marry, kill, where each one of us shags, marries, or kills everybody else's choices. So, Rob, take it away. Excluding your
Me?
choice, shag, marry, kill.
Right, so we've got Thor, Peter Parker. Well, Peter Parker can be killed in my eyes, so he's off. I think.
So we'll possibly shag him, but he won't fucking vote for it.
And yes, we're excluding Robert's choice generally, are we? Or
No,
because Miles Morales is between
No, he's a part of
15 and 17 years old.
Oh no, no,
So-
they're of age. They're of age.
He's never
Is that
been of
how
age in a comic. He's always been a teenager.
Mm.
So I'd rather we just not consider.
Well, I don't know why
Well,
that's
you can do
not
this.
just the kill choice then.
There you go, sorted. Because kills are legal everywhere, so that's not age.
Yeah, like that's going to be frowned upon regardless of the age. So,
But also,
Yeah.
we've got 4 choices for 3 options. So we do.
well,
need
we're
to
all
remove one.
doing Shag, Marry, Kill for everyone else's choice. So, like, I will not
okay,
vote
okay,
on Thor.
alright.
Although I have to pick which flavour of Spider-Man do I.
I mean, so do I.
Yeah, but as you were, go on.
Blade. Would I marry Blade? I'll marry Blade because of the garlic. Fantastic source of garlic, and I cook a lot with garlic, so that's really good. So I think I'll marry.
that's the best.
Is that okay?
That's the best argument you've ever made on this podcast.
That was incredible,
Thanks,
man. Yeah.
Just an unlimited supply of garlic, silver, and I guess UV light.
Yeah, but sorted. So you never have a dirty room again. And then I will shag Thor. Because although it pisses me off, he's very muscly and he is very attractive. I don't really have a thing against Chris Hemsworth. So, yeah, I'll shag him. So I'm going to kill off Spider-Man, shag Thor, and then marry Blade, sorry.
Oh, marry garlic.
Brandon,
Your turn.
So, yeah, I've got to kill Peter Parker for legal reasons. And then I'm going to go shag Blade. I don't think he's husbando material. I think over a long term there'd be more issues, whereas I think Miles Morales would be a caring lover. And so I'll marry
And a
that.
child.
I
He's
thought
a child as well.
they're both...
No, he's a child as well, mate.
I thought that Miles Morales had an aged...
I don't
like,
think
went
he's
on
ever been
past...
over 17 years old.
No, I don't think so.
Can we? I mean, they're
So
all made
far.
up. Can we not make believe that
It's
they
fine.
live past 21? I'll wait. It's
Well-
fine. We can.
We'll look
An
past
arranged marriage with Miles Morales.
Yeah. Hit me up in a
Okay.
few years' time, and we'll figure it
We're
out.
playing Crusader Kings in the Marvel universe. With,
Yeah.
With betrothed Brandon to Miles.
Good though, because you could have like I totally agree, you could have a beer with Miles when he's of age, and it's that would be really really good because like he seems like an actually
till he's
decent
21.
chap that has decent conversation, unlike Peter Parker, who it would just be. I'm all for the jokes and stuff, but you need to shut your mouth, mate, because there's too much, and your cringy shit between you and MJ. I'm not dealing with that. Like, not happening. So,
Yeah, and I
agree
don't
with
think that Blade would be considerate in the long term.
Fair.
I think he'd never put the bins out. I don't think he'd never do anything around the house. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go fight vampires. I don't think he'd pull his weight.
fair. Jack, shag, marry, kill.
So I've got 2 Spider-Mans and Thor.
Spicy sandwich, that.
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to say I think Blade would be a very good husband. I think he acts tough, but you watch the movies. He's a loving guy. He's got a heart of gold. Really, he just needs his non-vampire drug. Otherwise, things will get extra spicy in the bedroom. Yeah, I think you fuck Thor. There's not.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna have some old views. He or she, I don't know what version. I don't think it matters what version of Thor. I think you fuck Thor.
Well, that's the question.
And
Would you
then-
fuck Thor or would Thor fuck you? Realistically,
I mean, that's win-win, isn't it?
true. Yeah.
Then we got Miles and Peter. I'll kill Peter and marry Miles if he's aged up. As much as I'm pushing, he's a child. We should remove him from the off. I think Peter would get annoying. As funny and charming and stuff as it is in the comics as a comic book character, having to live with that every day, day in and day out, would perhaps grate after
Yeah.
a while. Don't.
But we're
put your
gonna
arms up.
bum him anyway, and then don't even start. This is ridiculous.
I've got
Go on,
screwed
Ryan,
over
say
here
your
as well,
anything.
Rob. Don't you?
So I've got a choice between Miles Morales, Thor, and Blade. Interesting. I'm gonna kill Miles Morales because there's a child argument. And then I'm gonna shag Blade because I think that's gonna be the kinkiest man alive. And then marry Thor for the benefits. I mean, he's a literal god. There's a lot of marital benefits aside from the tax break that are involved in marrying Thor. So that's why.
Yeah, but would you want to marry into that family?
That'd be
It's a lot of
bonkers.
pressure, but like I said,
Odin is your father-in-law. Loki is your brother-in-law. Like
Is your
that's-
brother-in-law?
it'll keep it fun. That side of the family.
Okay.
You'd have a wolf as a, what would that be? Some sort of second cousin, because that's Loki's son, isn't it? So that's a
Fenrir,
bit weird.
yeah.
Like,
I
you're
mean,
gonna be...
also, Odin sees all through his ravens. You're trying to get it on, set the mood, and then just fucking pecking at the window.
A raven coming over to ask you how to swap the TV to HDMI 2 or something.
Yeah,
Be
yeah,
quite
yeah.
useful. If you
Trying to
ignore
log into Facebook.
So he can post his pro-Brexit rants.
Yeah.
I love the view that Odin's actually a big old gammon in disguise. Pro-Brexit gammon.
He's just, I don't think he's a modern man, to be honest.
Oh dear.
Well, that was our first ever Shag, Marry, Kill segment. So,
God, what a fucking mess. Don't call the police. Like, we wouldn't actually.
What? We killed the children, it's fine.
clip that.
Oh, God.
So,
Right.
is it time for the final bracket? Blade versus Millie Morals.
No, not Millie Morris.
Sorry,
no,
Peter
no.
Parker, no. The
Peter Parker,
Yeah.
bring him back.
Yeah,
bring him
my
back.
apologies.
You want to marry him, but you don't want to. No,
Well, if someone
no,
who
whatever.
could actually come up with an argument had chosen him, he might be here.
It could have been.
He is the argument. Oh, I'm not
could've
going
been.
back. Let's move forward.
But no.
Let's not look at the past.
Peter Parker's Spider-Man versus Blade, and that's a hell of a question. I'm not entirely sure what side of that fence I'm on at the moment, to be honest.
Are you, Brandon, a big fan of Spider-Man? Are you a big fan of him as Spider-Man? Like, do you?
I'm not a. Here's the thing. I wouldn't say I'm really big fan of any Marvel. I have seen. Well, there just is more Spider-Man stuff than there is Blade stuff. But I guess what does swing it more towards Spider-Man is that at some point I have had Spider-Man socks for Christmas, but I've never had Blade socks. So
Okay, but given the choice between two pairs of socks,
It's Blade socks all day, every day, right?
it's probably Blade
Yeah,
socks. Yeah.
yeah, they just don't make it.
I think
That's the
I think it's hard because Blade's cool, but they haven't done much with it outside of the comic. Like obviously, Spider-Man's everywhere. There is so much Spider-Man you can consume. Whereas
2024, we're getting a Blade reboot.
we are getting another Blade, but
And
Ooh,
as I said,
really?
Yeah,
we talked about this at the start.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, I got the memory of a goldfish.
It's Blade is cast as Mahershala Ali, which is
Sorry, yes, because it wasn't.
absolutely fantastic casting.
Yep. Okay.
He's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Assuming people know who he is. I mean, he's from the Green Book, Moonlight. He's also been in other Marvel stuff as one of the villains. I think in Iron Fist or Luke Cage. Sorry. But yeah, he's really fantastic. Anyway, carry on.
But I mean, does that really go to Spider-Man's credit that clearly there is so much Spider-Man and he's such a flagship Marvel character, it must be for a reason. Maybe Blade would have been out there more if he was the better character. you could argue.
I think that's what you're voting for. You're voting for a flagship versus kind of the underdog anti-hero, which is kind of...
But it's not an anti-hero.
Well, yeah. But it's kind of the Superman versus kind of Deadpool debate. You've got a flagship versus a lesser known but cult hero, essentially, even though Deadpool's far out of cult now because everyone absolutely loves him for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, pick your poison. Do you want flagship Pikachu or underground cult smash hit?
I mean, look, Blade, the movies are so fucking good. You know that things that come out that are Blade related are just going to be absolutely sick. He's such a good, charming character in a very different way to Peter. He's less annoying for people that do find Peter annoying.
I think with Spider-Man, yes, you might have the style, you might not have the cult status, but you're always going to have a good, nice time with a Spider-Man piece of media. It's always going to feel like a warm, cozy blanket. It's, you know, it's comfort food for superhero media consumption. And if that doesn't rustle your jimmies, then you've got a cold, dead heart, and you shouldn't be on the podcast. That's my opinion.
Shit. Well then, God, the credentials. I didn't sign up for this. God, I don't like Spider-Man. Ryan, I've argued this many a time, and I just don't. No, as in, sorry, Peter Parker. Apologies, this is getting very confusing. I don't like Peter Parker. I just don't like the character. I don't like his witty attitude. I don't think it's funny. I just think it's bloody annoying. I don't know. I can't get on board with that. And I like Blade. The film's good. And again, going back to the DC thing, because of the picks that I do like with heroes, he's more aligned to that than Spider-Man ever will be. And I have tried. You know, I played the game and I still can't get into that. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. There is just something about it. I'm like, I just cannot bring myself to enjoy it. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I'm getting at here? Like,
Spider-Man, Peter Parker would never say ACAB. Blade would.
Ooh, that's it. Killer argument. Holy shit.
Vampires have the cops in their pocket, so he's killed many a cop, and that makes him a real hero.
It's a hell of an argument. My vote is Spider-Man. Because if I left the house, just went out the street dressed as Blade, I'd get looks. If I went out dressed as Spider-Man, people would love it. No, people would love it. It's your friendly neighborhood hero.
In blackface.
No, not necessarily.
That might be the problem.
No, if we ignore that, just the edgy trench coat. What's
wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
You just look like the anime fan that you are deep down.
Yeah, milady. Yeah, I'd have to get rid of my fedora. Is the issue?
Another thing in Blade's corner, doesn't like vampire movies because he doesn't find them very realistic, except for the Twilight series, which he apparently loves the sparkly vampire one.
So it's Spider-Man, right?
Those movies are so bad. I love that Blade would enjoy them. I love that idea.
Whereas I'm gonna go for Blade.
So once again, we are tied.
We're tied, but I don't think we've ever been tied in the final round like this.
No, we have, but it was like that was with the guts with the husbando because it was tied.
Was it tied?
And you all went because Ryan conceded, but
well, no, then
there's
it wasn't
nothing
tied, was it?
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I am.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from, but the panel was tied, but the contenders weren't.
But I think this sounds more of a tie. But is there a problem with having a tie?
Yeah, because we need the best. So I do think
there's
we
only
know
one best.
If neither of you are backing down, you actually have to say neither, and you both pick a new.
I've got a backup ready.
New hero. You need to go back up.
I've got backups. I just need to.
The only one, Jack. It isn't Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think who to go for.
Go on then, Ryan. Do you want to do your backup in the meantime?
I will,
yeah.
And it might surprise a few people, and I can't talk massively.
It's Blade.
I can't talk a
Just
lot.
swap.
Yeah, I can't talk a lot about it because I've not read much of the comics. I've only really watched the Netflix show, but really enjoyed that. I'm gonna go with Punisher. It's a man with a gun. It's a man with
That
a
was
gun.
my second choice if it came to it. So yeah,
Wait, Punisher's Marvel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Did you just
Can we go
not-
back? Oh god.
He's part of like the more minor New York heroes in Hell's Kitchen, like Daredevil, Punisher, Elektra, all of that. He's part of the Defenders, isn't he?
What, the PS2 Punisher game I played years ago when you slam people's heads in a window is awesome. Oh my god, that is sick.
that's good.
Yeah, like
very
John
good.
John
Punished-
Bernthal plays a fucking
Yeah.
phenomenal part.
That series is
the
very
Netflix
good.
series. John Bernthal is like actually a fantastic actor.
It's such a good TV show, and I've not really delved into the comics at all, so this makes me a #fake Punisher fan. But whatever.
Yeah,
I just think everyone's got superpowers, and a man with a gun turns up and said, "Right, let's start this fucking party." Cool as fuck. Yeah, it's a bit
That-
weird with gun control in America, but don't look into it too much, and you'll have a good time.
I think the things that I've read and watched of the Punisher, though, it does sort of interrogate that a little bit. Like he's not
Yeah,
he is an anti-hero. I think early Punisher doesn't, but modern Punisher definitely like looks at like, oh, this is a guy with severe PTSD who's just saying no to dealing with that in any healthy way.
yeah. I think in the series they do go into his past in like, is it the Gulf War, Afghanistan, something like
it's
that.
Afghanistan, I think. Yeah, that Kandahar episode was tense.
So I think it does cool stuff addressing that, like Jack said, and it's a bloke with a gun in the Marvel universe. Fair play.
Go on, Jack, what are you bringing to the table?
See, I've got three that stick out that I really like, and I think I'm going to mention them, and then I'll land on one by the end of it. So first one I thought of was Gambit, and I think it's almost purely an aesthetic thing. He's just a fucking sick X-Men character.
Is that playing cards, man?
Playing
Yeah,
cards.
the cards.
Yes.
Playing cards, yeah.
You got
Explosive.
Gambit and Jubilee. They tend to be paired together. But yeah, Gambit's he's just cool. But I don't think there's much there beyond the aesthetic. And then I was like, I really like what they're doing with Miss Marvel at the moment. I think they're trying to do something quite interesting and inclusive and sort of set her up to go to come in to like a new generation of Avengers potentially. Miss Marvel being Kamala Harris, I think it is.
I've not seen it. I've seen it advertised. I've not watched it.
So she's pretty. Kamala Khan, sorry. Kamala Harris is a fucking politician. What am I on about? Kamala Khan. She's like this little fangirl of the Avengers. And then she gets superpowers, and it's the Pakistani American girl dealing with sort of being, a non-white young woman who is trying to also become a superhero in America. It's doing some cool, interesting stuff. So I think she's great. But in terms of being the best, I'm not sure she's quite there, but I think she's just super endearing and has a lot of promise. Particularly as like just representing non sort of Christian people and brown people within the Avengers and the Marvel Universe more. And women. And then I think the one I'm going to go with is perhaps the deepest cut we've had, and that is Magic.
Ooh, the
Yeah,
bar.
no
The
idea.
Gathering.
No, Magic.
It's Ryan's pitch.
Ilyana Rasputina. Yes, she's related to Rasputin. She is also the younger sister of Colossus from the X-Men.
Cool.
She is a mutant. She's a member of the X-Men. She has the ability to... she's got loads of abilities, and it's difficult to tell what her mutation is opposed to what her abilities gained later are. But basically, she has the ability to teleport herself through time and space. Fucking sick. Then, as a young girl, she gets trapped in limbo by a demon. And she basically spends her time there overcoming these demons and gaining control over limbo, which is like this meeting point of all universes and worlds. She gets a sick sword that she uses to quite literally cut through time and space to open portals. She can astral project. Her armor is eldritch armor, which can like appear on her body and have like horns and hooves and shit. She's just sick. Like this cross between the X-Men mutant stuff and then also the more arcane side of the Marvel universe, which isn't often touched on, like demons and magic and shit, which is there. It just hasn't come up in, say, the MCU very much. Yeah, I think she might be my pick. There are other heroes that come to me, but I think Ilyana Rasputina is pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, okay.
So just to make sure, I'm sure we've all just Googled this character, but magic with a K. I have got the correct.
Magik.
I'm picking up what you're putting down from this Google image search. So
it is quite cool, but is it Punisher cool? Because
I think she's completely the opposite way.
She is completely the opposite,
like
for sure.
Punisher is a guy with a gun, and
which is awesome. I love that divide of like superhero and hero. A bit like Iron Man, like he's just a bloke.
Magic is like, yeah, I've got mutant powers. Also, I went and fucking became queen of Limbo and got all of these other powers.
To be fair, yeah.
Also sick Russian.
This is cool as all balls.
This does look rad,
cool.
to be fair.
I mean, it's the first time in forever that I've actually wanted to go read a comic. So, fair play for this deep cut into the Marvel universe, I guess.
Yeah, none of us knew the fuck this was, but
Jack picked some right real ones, didn't he? It goes deep.
Now, the one thing to Magic's detriment I do have to put out there is that if we do pick that, Jack will have won too many in a row. This looks cool, man. This looks rad.
No, I'm going Punisher. I flipping love Punisher. I think that's cool, and I like that hero aspect in a superhero like franchise or whatever. That's why I like Batman. I mean, I don't really like Iron Man. Like he's poo, but it's similar sort of thing. But Punisher is cool. Like that is an awesome vibe.
Also, I feel
really enjoy
like such a cretin choosing a white man with a gun, and Jack's going like, "Here are all the diverse candidates that you absolute cockwaddles could have brought to the table, but didn't." So. Fair play to Jack for bringing some actual diversity to his pick.
Well, then, honourable mention then, in all fairness, Black Panther. Very cool.
Yeah, I think some really cool Marvel films as well.
I'm surprised no one picked Black Panther.
But I'm going to pick Punisher for this last bracket.
Random.
Myself.
I don't have a third
I mean,
pick.
this can be our first...
I will go for the Punisher because I'm aware of it. I suppose that helps, and it is really good. It's phenomenal. Magic looks awesome.
Magic could fucking destroy the Punisher.
It does look cool.
And it's very much that sort of, I guess, more fantasy aspect that I'm more into than. But yeah, the places
I think she's cool because she. Sorry, Brandon. I'll let you go in a minute. I'm terrible at speaking over people. She's cool in that she serves, because she starts off as just a mutant and then gains the like arcane magic side. She serves as like a meeting point for all of those different superhero teams, and she like forms and joins loads of different teams that like mix those up, which is where Marvel is at its most interesting, is when it's not the Avengers, it's this group with like one Avenger, one of the X-Men, one of the Runaways. You know, they pull them together. But yeah, no, okay. I guess I've lost this. We're not going for a third round of me and Ryan.
Yeah, no,
another.
I am super into it, and it looks like a D&D wet dream. But I don't think we can say that the best Marvel character is something that 75% of this podcast, and to be honest, probably most of the audience, have never heard of before.
I mean, she has been
for better or
in
worse.
live-action stuff. She's been in the New Mutants, which was sort of a more horror Marvel thing. That was out a couple of years ago. So she has had live action versions,
Fair.
and it was
Something to
alright.
look into then, I think,
was
after.
fun.
Yeah, so.
It's better
Something
than a
to
lot
look
of
into
Marvel
now.
shit.
Agree.
That looks cooler than Thor. So
Yeah.
It's Punisher. It's Punisher, mate.
Punisher.
It's Punisher.
Are we saying Punisher's won? Punisher is one. That's
Okay.
right. Ryan, you have won.
I think
with
if
Punisher.
we did the same thing again in like a year or two, maybe 3 years, I think Magic would have come up more in the broader MCU and come forward a bit, because she's just such a fantastic character. That
If we
they've
do
just
this
got
again in a
sitting
few
there.
years' time, I ain't in the podcast, mate. So
I mean, you're not in the podcast for the next episode at this rate. You're just not.
Right. So, as the winner, next week's episode is gonna be, drum roll please, it's gonna be the best class. Now I'm gonna leave that open purposely for interpretation. I won't say any more. I want some wacky answers out there, boys. Preferably some stuff we've heard of. Crack on, lads.
my year 9 class is pretty good, to be fair. I quite like that. And to be fair, my year 7 class in middle school, that was very good as well. I enjoyed that. Good memories.
Both high school, which surprises me.
No, one's middle school. We have middle school and then high school, so we have primary, middle, high.
Oh, right. Well, I'm from the filthy downtrodden, so we don't have middle school. And we also don't say class. So, but no, I like that because that can go in a few different ways, which I suspect it will. But no, congratulations, Ryan,
Thank you.
for scraping a victory.
I mean, it's mainly because people didn't want me to get the hat trick, you know?
Mostly that, yeah.
No,
That was my vote.
actually, no. I did vote for Blade originally, so
Yes, yeah.
there you go.
No, Punisher's a fantastic pick. I really like Punisher, but you know, of course you're going to pick the straight white guy. You know, of course you're going to.
Just glad Peter Parker didn't win.
Wow. So on that bombshell, are we all going to say goodbye, good night, sayonara?
Well, send us your Marvel picks if you like Marvel.
Or even if you don't.
Or if you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or if
we
you
don't
don't.
really.
Yeah, put that in there as well. And put in your favourite DC hero. Why not? Just chuck that in there as well.
No one
That's
gives a
all
shit
good.
about DC.
What's the email, Brandon?
Oh. I sent one there earlier. I believe this might need to be retconned. bestbuttieспod@gmail.com.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah?
And Ryan, where are the socials, Ryan?
Butties, Butties.
Yeah.
Do not send it to Best Buddies.
Yeah, don't do
No
that.
one sent an email.
We're not
More
friends.
importantly, what is the Twitter and Instagram? It's 2023. No one cares about email.
I think
It's
we're
true. Go on.
Best Butties Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I think Rob will correct me here. He's giving me the thumbs up. Huzzah. Catch us on all those socials. Tweet inane shit at us. Make us go big so we can get a Patreon and live fat lives on your money. Thank you.
reading comic books, because that's definitely what we're going to do. We're going to take all that money, buy lots of comic books, and read them. It's going to be good.
I mean,
I just hope
I'm
people like
carrying
Thor.
on reading more about Magic, and there's storylines here that I didn't even know about. I need to go and.
Of course, no one's heard of it. No one knows who it is.
But she's fantastic. She's so good. Lots of people have heard of her. She's like a demon queen. Right, but yes, Punisher 1. We're done. Goodbye.
Bye, love you.
Bye.
Love.
I got a stick. Ooh, I got a stick. I got a stick.
Magic was robbed.
Magic's really cool, man. What the hell was that?